boy, Mr. Just Ask Joe, and my brother from another mother, brother John. Y'all, how you doing there, family?
I'm live, man. I am alive and I am as great as I can be. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm good, brother. I'm like you. I'm alive. I'm feeling good. Life is never easy. No one promised that life would be easy, but you have the ability to create whatever you want with your life. We have that ability, man, and that's something that I love is that every day you wake up, we got a new 24 hours,
Exactly.
a brand new 24 hours, man, and that's fantastic. I can't say that enough. That these new 24 hours allows you to wake up and make something better, something greater, something different happen, man. And you know, you try not to live in regret. I think living in regret is a bad thing, right?
Exactly. Yep. You lose your gratitude if you're living in regret and you are in the area of being a victim.
Got you. Yeah, you. That's I think that's true, man. You know, if you, I think even for the religious folks out there, listen, even the Bible says not to live in regret. So I don't think living in regret is the thing to do. So we definitely need not do such a thing as live in regret. What's been going on this week for you, family?
Oh man, just keeping up with everything that's going on with my business. Of course, it's always changing. So something's always new. I'm learning about the imports, the exports, and what's going on overseas. What's going on with the dock where the ships are docking at. The strike that's going on. First it was covert shutdown. Now it's a strike. And so I'm still have a container waiting to be unloaded in the California coast. So, but it's
Man,
all good. Yeah, I
I
still
mean,
got
can
plenty.
you can you drive down there and pick it up yourself? I
Out.
mean,
By now, I could have, right? The only problem is the ocean freight is not even at the dock. It's sitting in the ocean waiting to be docked. And that's the
oh
crazy part.
man,
Yeah,
I wonder how that stuff works, man. Because I mean, those guys, the guys on the ships, on those big what do you call them, the big freight ships or whatever. We see them pass down the river here in Louisville a lot. You see it, but those guys on those big container ships. I mean, everybody there got to get paid. I mean, and I don't. I assume like a trucker, you know, they can't go nowhere until that stuff is unloaded.
correct. Yeah. Yeah, it's really a chain effect where it affects businesses on so many different levels with the product coming from overseas. It even affects like myself where you use parts that's coming from overseas to help you finish a product to be made. So I think what I'm listening to that everyone who's dependent on import is affected right now. Everyone that I know that their business depending on import is affected right now.
You know what? I got a piece of furniture. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I still got another piece of furniture that hadn't come. I mean, it took them 3 months to get my furniture delivered to me anyway, and then I got another piece that hasn't come yet. And I'm just sitting here thinking, it's not here, and maybe it has something to do with that whole thing as well, because they ordering that stuff from overseas, and that could be a situation as to why my stuff isn't here.
Exactly.
Wow. So, interesting stuff, interesting stuff. So I definitely, I don't think that we could do a show today. I mean, we could, but it wouldn't be right if we didn't mention anything about 9/11. So I know we'll talk about that. One thing I want to do is just let everybody know 502-776-1350. Call in from wherever you are in the world, listening, watching, whatever. 502-776-1350. Call in, and I would like to hear from people. tell us where you were when 9/11 happened. I can definitely remember. But again, 502-776-1350. Tell us where you were when 9/11 happened. Grand Rising, Phyllis Myers. Big shout out to Esoteric Podcast with John Ya in the comments line there. So shout out to whoever that amazing podcast is there. I see you coming in. Look like you coming in off of YouTube commenting. So that's
Yes,
what's up.
sir. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm kicked off Facebook, so and I just have to operate on another level.
Now, so let okay. So you gonna go ahead and you gonna go ahead and stay off Facebook. You can't do
I
that,
don't
man.
know. Right now, I am not allowing the control. So what I'm doing is a Facebook detox. I'm always posting things that are very controversial. And of course, understand this is that Facebook is not a right. It's only a privilege. We don't own Facebook, so they can block you and stop you from saying anything they want to stop you from saying. I ain't crying about it. But when they do block me, this right here was something different. They suspended or what they call locked out my account until I go through a bunch of tasks that they want to send me through, and I just don't feel like it. So I'm not feeling like being sucked into something that it's not my life. It ain't like I'm making money off Facebook. I just report a lot of stuff and inform people, and I get informed. But by them doing that, I almost feel like they in control of me. So I just said, well, okay, I just let you step for a while. I'm not so enthused about having you back on anyway. So it's like that. And I understand it. I'm not crying about it. I know that I'm going to continue to post and or speak out loud about COVID, against the vaccine, and I'm always going to advocate for those who are not wanting to take the vaccine, so that I can inspire them because they inspire me. So I'm going to continue that whether Facebook like it or not.
Got you. I'm with you. But I have a strategic way of how I post things about the covert and whatnot. I be putting spaces in between different words and breaking up numbers, and it ain't 19. It's 1 space 9 for the covert 19. I try to do that. I learned that if I do that, then it definitely makes a difference, because I've seen people, I've repost something that someone else has posted, and I did not get booted off because of the strategic way that I believe that I am working things on social media. And that person did get booted off, or their post got flagged or what have you. So I've had to kind of learn to do that, because I believe it's important, personally, to share viewpoints among people. I get in contact with people all over the world, family, friends, and social media has been a bigger, better platform. We've gotten away. Like I said, I my phone was in the shop for 2 weeks, and it was about 12 missed calls. Not 2 weeks, but a week. It was 12 missed calls and about 200 text messages, that
Oh
were
wow.
there. So it's like we don't pick up the phone and dial as much anymore. Even companies, they're sending text messages out to you before they pick up the phone and call you.
That's
So
right, sure.
it's interesting the way that works. Either way, again, folks, 502-776-1350. If in fact you want to call in and say something. I want to give a big birthday shout out to Tamika Stalker. Folks, if you guys ever want to call in and do a birthday shout out, you can as well. But if you would like us to do it for you, you can email us at the tipping point show at gmail.com. Again, that's the tipping point show at gmail.com. You email us some names and age and birthday of someone. We will go ahead and give a birthday shout out to them for you. But with that in
Awesome.
mind, we man, last night it was the Erykah Badu concert. And so what we did she wanted to. It was her 50th birthday. This is one of my partner's niece, Tamika Stalker, and it was her 50th birthday. So what she did, she wanted to have it on my partner's houseboat, right? And which is her uncle. And with that in mind, they parked the houseboat right there at the docks beside the waterfront. So the backdrop to her party was the Erica Badu concert. And we were
Wow.
able to enjoy that music all night and just have a good time. And, it's interesting because we have the Louisville Progressive Boating Club on Facebook, right? And we're trying to make that into more of a movement. There's more black owned boaters out there on the waters now, which is very cool. And so the objective of the Louisville Progressive Boating Club is to introduce this boating community to uh, more black folk, to more ADOS, to more African Americans. And it's interesting because the boating community is just a different community, bro. Like nobody, it's not about race or anything. It's just about you got a boat, I got a boat, we cool.
Yeah.
I mean, white, black, yellow, and blue, man. I didn't sat up there and smoke some chief with some senators
Yes.
from across the bridge, bro. I mean, true story. So, it's interesting how the boating community is very cool, laid back, and very different. But that's we're trying to introduce more of it to more of us, and that's kind of the purpose behind that. With today being 9/11, like I said, I can remember specifically where I was. Do you remember where you were when 9/11 happened, bro?
I do. I do. I remember I was standing in the living room when actually I just started my business and was working on some things. And my wife called me. She was at the time she was working for a law office, and she called me in the middle of the day and told me turn on the news. And yeah, I turned it on. I remember standing right in the living room watching the event taking place as it was going on at that time live.
Wow, wow, man. I can tell you, it's interesting. I used to be an engineer for Bell South years ago when it was called Bell South, and I was an engineer, and I was out in the field working on some plant. It's what we call the outside facilities and whatnot. I was out working on some plant, and we were bringing lines to a warehouse, and this warehouse, it was some gentleman. He was a Middle Eastern guy, and he had a TV in his office. We had to bring lines all the way in, and his TV was turned on, and he, in his broken English said, "Come look." And we both sat there on the couch, uh, looking at his little small tiny TV as we watched what was going on with these towers, 9/11, and all of that, man. It was absolutely amazing, and couldn't believe what we were seeing in that moment. Grand Rising Frank Stoner, Grand Rising Layla, the educator Hampton. Um, you know, we couldn't believe what was actually going on as we sat there, and it was interesting, man. It was very interesting times, sitting there looking at that. And what's crazy is at the time, my wife, my then wife, or what have you, fiance at the time, we were scheduled to be married the next month. So, and we did. We got married in October. We came back and this was down in Miami, Florida, when I was sitting there working as an engineer. And, we came back to Louisville, got married, and went back. But it was crazy. The fallout from 9/11 was crazy too, because you had a lot of companies doing a lot of layoffs because the market was crashing due to what happened. I mean, whenever there's any big a situation like that, people tend to pull their money out.
Exactly. Right.
It's no longer play time, and people tend to pull their money out when the market is crashing. So it was interesting, man. Sitting there beside a Middle Eastern gentleman, and I heard there was the Miami Subs, where was a restaurant where some of the guys, the pilots or something, were supposed to have convened. I worked in the apartment building where some of the guys were supposed to have lived. The Perry Airport, where some of the guys went and learned how to fly but not land. That's literally right up the street from my family's house, and I went and took flight lessons there as well. But I did learn how to land very, very well. I like that part. That's actually the best part of learning to
Right.
fly is the landing. But with that in mind, man, that's where the word uh, was that. I think that's where the word surreal came out. That's when that word came out. But it was a surreal situation, and I never want to go through that governmental attack on American soil ever again. Oops, my fault. I didn't mean to say that. But you
But
know,
listen, though, what's interesting is that those times were, if you look at those those of us who survived it, and just like any other great time that has really shocked the world, you look at the people of how they survived, and that becomes the testimony for those that after, like your children will probably ask you, "Hey, Dad, what was you doing?" And so, how did you survive? That what you tell them is the way they learn how to survive once that's coming. There's always going to be something. And so, we got to understand that if you made it through something, it's the best time to be alive to absorb whatever has happened and how you respond. But just like right now, we're going through a pandemic, which is global, and how you respond to it is going to be something that's going to be a legacy of what you're going to tell your kids and your grandkids. So I can only imagine what my grandbaby don't know what's going on, but she's not going to public school. She's not allowed to watch television, but yet she knows this word over and stuff. And so when she becomes an adult, she's going to look at her mother and her grandfather and the family she was now, and she's going to know how they survived, whether they believed in everything they were told. And so what I'm looking at is that looking at this as a legacy, so that my children understand not to fully trust this stuff, whatever they get, but that's a lesson. And how we survive this lesson is very important. So you should be glad that you are alive right now, and how you are figuring it out for your kids to look at you and later mimic that and understand your strength. So this is the best time for us to be alive during this time, because those of us who are resistant is making the what's new come. And so I commend everyone that's in the resistance to do that, because why? When it comes down to all this smoke goes away, you're going to be the one to hear what says, "Oh man, where did you stand?" I remember that back in the '60s when I remember asking my father, Where did you stand? What was your view in the '60s? All the stuff that was going on back in the '60s. You know what I'm saying? How did you survive that? And that becomes a testimony for me during this time, and how I watched my pop have two jobs, didn't have nothing. Right? And so this is a momentum. This is a great time right now. If you're surviving this, you're telling a hell of a story that you're gonna leave.
got you, man. Got you. You know, I don't. Honestly, it's a tough situation. Whether it was real, whether it was fake, whether those were commercial airplanes and nobody was on them. I don't know what they did with the supposed people that were missing after that. Whether they kidnapped them and took them to a faraway place, or whether they went ahead and told the aliens they can go ahead and take them people with them. I don't know. But you're right. There's a time to where you kind of are sitting back and you think, what are my kids going to remember, in the midst of that. And John, just so you know, I think just a little bit of trouble hearing you before. So I don't
Okay.
know if you. There you go. I think a little bit louder there.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great.
Now Phyllis, she says, and this is people chiming in from online. Phyllis says that she was at an empty movie matinee with her brother, and the theater was empty, and they did not know why until they came home. Now that's wild right there. To be somewhere where there isn't any television and one of the biggest, craziest, wildest things happen in your lifetime, and to not know until later, because not even the movie theater people decided to come and frantically tell them what was going on. That's wild right there.
No,
But
it was so crazy that people, even in Louisville, were leaving buildings, getting out of the building. People were looking up in the sky. Like, I mean, this was happening, of course, just in New York, but everywhere people were looking up into the skies, getting out of Chicago. I forgot the biggest building in Chicago, evacuated because they just saw planes. Right? So it was affecting all of the country. Like I said, outside, up, thinking that there's going to be a bunch of dropping of planes.
wow, yeah, man. I know. I mean, I'm on the 20th floor downtown, and I see planes fly by all the time. I mean, I wave at them sometimes. They so close. I mean, the planes, and they're loud. They're on their way to the airport to land, and or taking off, going the opposite direction. But I mean, I sit there and I watch them all the time. And believe me, there's been a few times where, you know, I'm looking and I'm listening, and it's just sometimes even louder, and I'm like, hold up. What's going on? Is this plane all right? Because they make all type of noises, man. And you just don't know. But yeah, they said, I think, did they rebuilt the 9/11 towers or something, right? They built one to commemorate.
Right. They built some type of memorial type of building. I don't think they built
Yeah.
towers back.
Yeah, I
But
think that
they built
memorial
something
building
back.
is like 94 floors, and I think previously the twin towers were like 110 floors each. And this new commemorative building or museum or what have you is 94 floors. And a lot of places are doing commemorative things. I know even at my building, I seen a sign yesterday, um, that they're climbing up and down the steps or something to commemorate 9/11, and I was like, okay, I don't think I'll be participating in that, but
Wow. Running up and down the emergency steps.
I guess, man, the that's the only steps in this building is the exit steps or the stairwell or whatever, which I've never even seen, and I probably should get to know it. But even still, they're commemorating it that way. And I'm like, well, I hope y'all don't jump out the buildings and whatnot, jump off the floors to commemorate, because that was also stuff that was going on. But it's just crazy, man. What happened with that? And I watched a video, a documentary, bro. It's called The Money Changers or something like that. You know what, John? I think it's your connection, something maybe to the phone, because when you move, I hear a little bit of static, and so that may have something to do with the audio or whatever, as well.
Okay,
But
what about now? Good?
yep, you sound good. You sound good. You sound clear.
Great.
So you know, I don't know, man, but people are doing all type of crazy commemorative things around the country, and I understand that, but I don't know, man. A moment of silence is definitely warranted on today. But I know we're gonna get out on this water today, and we're gonna commemorate that way and enjoy a little more. Tamika's doing her birthday all weekend, so we're gonna enjoy a little bit more of this water and sun as well. But I know we were talking, man, about abortion this week. You know,
Yes.
that's yet another topic that is back on the table,
Yes.
right? And so the idea is my body, my choice. It's interesting when I hear that because I look some things up online and my body, my choice, my body, my choice, and I already see you smirking because you you already know where I'm going, and I'm just like it just boggles all the synapses in my brain, all the synapses throughout my body. It just sends signals everywhere, and I'm just sitting here thinking like, how in the world can we sit here and have this argument yelling out my body, my choice, while we're sitting here trying to force COVID shot plan? I mean, we're trying to force these vaccines, these things that they're calling vaccines on people, yet yell my body, my choice when it comes to aborting a baby. I mean, isn't that crazy? I mean, I don't know. Am I one off on this one?
Well, that one's correct. It seems like they use that phrase whenever it benefits them. But one of the things that's been going on about this abortion thing's been battling for years. And I'm gonna tell you what bothers me. It doesn't bother me, but the conversation is somehow the common sense leaves the room when we're talking about abortion. So let me put it this way. So a woman should have the right to do whatever she wants to do with her body. I get that. I get the fact that if you get pregnant, you should have the right to do what you want to do. Okay, now set to the side and let's do that. But now, where's the responsibility? So let's give you an example. Let's say, for instance, there's a sandwich that will cause me diabetes. It's highly likely that this sandwich will cause me diabetes. So if I eat this sandwich, you mean to tell me I can get diabetes? Are you going to eat that sandwich? Now, what am I lusting that sandwich so much for that I'm a risk getting diabetes? Well, it's the same thing with the abortion. You got to first have sex before you can get pregnant. And so what is about that sex so much that you forget the fact that you can get pregnant? Now you got to go through all the problems with trying to abort the baby, all the mental problems you got to go through, and the physical stuff you got to go through. Instead of just saying, I don't want to have sex, but what you're saying is, no, I want to have the right to have sex, but I want to have the right to get rid of that which I create. That doesn't make sense to me. And so what happens is that people seem like there's a badge to have sex. Just give me the badge. Forget the consequences. Just give me the badge. And this is on both parts. This is on the man part, who know damn well you don't want no child. What are you doing entering her? And her part, she knows damn well she don't want to have a child. Why is she letting you enter her? And so here we are talking about abortion, but we're not talking about responsible sex. There's condoms out here. If you can't stop from having sex, get a condom. And if you can't get a condom, then it doesn't make sense. Women complain about he don't want the baby. Well, he didn't want the baby when he laid down with you. Why didn't you ask him? There's the possibility of you laying down without a condom. It's highly likely you're going to get pregnant. It's no different than me eating that sandwich, and I know damn well it's going to cause me diabetes. Do I eat it? So somehow common sense leaves out the door, it's gone, and we're not talking responsibility. If you have sex and you have a baby, your ass should have the right, you should have full right to take care of that child and be responsible for it. If not, if you don't want to do that, stop having sex. And when I make that statement, some people quit and say, now you're taking away my right to have sex. No, I'm not. I'm taking away your right for getting pregnant and you don't want the baby. That's the right you should be taken from you. Your ability to have sex without any real judgment of who you're laying down with.
So All right. So people make mistakes, right? And that's a big
Uh-huh.
mistake to make.
Yeah.
But the mistake is made. Now, one thing that Layla says is, why is it always men trying to tell women what to do with their bodies anyway?
That's
Now,
right.
let's look at this. People made the mistake, right? They whatever happened, and there's people out there where condoms pop and this, that, and the other. But that's a part of taking on the responsibility of the actions that you part were partaking in, right? So,
Exactly.
so you accept that. But nonetheless, however, a person or a people or a couple got to that point, now what are we talking about? We're talking about, is abortion right or wrong? My body, my choice. The guy don't get to make a choice. He doesn't get to make any direction about whether or not she keeps it or what have you. I mean, what are we talking about at that point? Once the mistake has been made, is abortion okay?
Right. And the other issue comes in, does he have a right? Do he have any rights at that point? Or is it all on her to where she can choose to abort without his decision? And see, that goes back to, again, two people laying down and wait a minute, sex is the reproduction. How we produce is through sex. But we look at sex as recreational. We're looking at it as a recreation. Let's just have fun and have sex. We don't look at it as production. You are doing this to reproduce. If you're not doing it to reproduce, then what are you doing? Just for fun? Look at the risk. The risk of getting the disease. Look at the risk. The risk of getting pregnant of a baby you don't even want and you can't even afford. So where's the responsibility goes back to that. And so, yes, the woman should have the right to do what she want to do with her body, but she also should have the common sense to not allow that to happen. To where now you are now going down to the abortion clinic, seeking an abortion that is going to mess with you mentally and mess with you physically for the rest of the time you here. And that's what I don't hear. I don't hear accountability. Are you accountable for who you laying down with? Yes or no? If you're going to say no, then what you're saying is that your lust outweighs your intelligence. And that's just like men who think with their lower desire, it outweighs their intelligence, and they'll stick that penis into anything walking, right? Because we lose our intelligence, we lose the ability to think clearly just because of that rush of that emotional desire that we want so bad, we don't care what we put it in. Something's wrong with that picture. Literally, something's wrong with that picture.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine. He told me about, he messed around with a girl with one leg. He just took that other leg off, detached it, and put it to the side, man, and went at it. And I was like,
yeah,
that's I can't, I'm not like that, bro. I can't. There has to be certain components in mind, But either way, when we start talking about this, okay, so now we got some questions. What about rape? What about
okay. Yes.
rape
Well,
within the family?
let's put rape to the side. Let's put rape to the side because this is where it always come up about rape. So let's put rape to the side and let's know this: that if rape happens, yes, there should be every reason to abort. But let's put that one to the side. Let's get back to the responsibility because you're talking only 1%, maybe less than 1%, 1/10%. So let's not make that 1/10% and blow it up so big that now we're overshadowing with everybody who just run around having sex and want to run down there and have an abortion. So that 1/10%, let's put that to the side and let's give that justification. You're right. But now what about the other 99.99%
I know
that's
some people,
out there?
I know some people that they on their third, fourth.
I know it.
Bruh, like when does the responsibility lie? I mean, if a bartender allows a person to come up and grab that fourth, fifth, and sixth drink, knowing that they're plastered, then the bartender can be held accountable. And there are cases like that, for allowing that person to come back and keep getting that drink, and then they end up in a serious accident. So,
Correct.
wouldn't the clinic then be held accountable for, allowing a person 2, 3, and 4 times to come and get an abortion? That right there is that's a responsibility there on the side of the. But I know what they're gonna say. Well, it's the responsibilities on the person, and the responsibility is on the person. But they should share in that responsibility to say, look, the clinic shouldn't. Y'all should be able to close the doors, and there should be an international network, computer network. It's 2021. It's time to stop playing like we can't do that. But there should be an international network to where they can't hop states and go get that third and fourth abortion. You ain't
That's
hop
crazy.
states. You ain't hop states to get away from that dude that keep knocking you up. Hop
That's
states
crazy.
to get away from that. Now here's a question here. Is it that a woman doesn't want to have the baby, or is it that the woman doesn't want to take care of the baby? All right, so this is coming from Kari Muhammad out there on Facebook land. Is it that a woman doesn't want to have the baby, or is it that the woman doesn't want to take care of the baby?
That's a twofold. Those are both in the same. That's right there, both in the same. If you don't want the baby, you don't want to take care of it. If you don't want to take care of it, you don't want the baby. That's just one note. But here's the thing. The thing about it is that, again, if you don't want a baby, how do you have a baby? You have sex. That's the only way you can get a baby is to have sex. So where's the responsibility just saying, hey, I don't want no baby, so therefore I ain't having sex? I mean, where is the? Here's the thing. Now listen to this, Joe. It's very interesting. You got abortion clinics in the hood. In every city, there's an abortion clinic in the hood. Now, let's take away abortion clinics, and let's take away welfare checks. Let's remove that. If you have a baby, right now, if you have a baby, there's $300 or $400 waiting on you every month, maybe more, I don't know. And so there's money waiting on you to have that baby, to help you take care of that baby. Now, rightfully so, taxpayers' money, boom, going that way. But take this away in a country where that don't allow. It's very interesting why China don't play that. You can't sit around and just be one. They'll tell you want more than one child, you going to jail, or more than 2, I believe. But listen to this, because people have to have some type of rule over them, or they'll just screw away. So imagine now, there is no money for you if you have your child. Think about this. There's no place you can go to ask for any money to help you raise your. If you ain't got a job, you and your children, you and your child starve. Now think about this. Wouldn't it be common sense that you will wait first before you have that child to make sure you can feed it? I mean, wouldn't that come first? Because it's hard for you to eat yourself. And secondly, and most important, what if abortion clinics went away and there was any? You have a baby, you have to take care of it, and you're left with that. So now, again, let's go back to what caused the pregnancy. Can we somehow focus on the cause before you end up having to throw the baby away or abort it or leave it with someone or put it up for adoption? Can we go to the cause first? Because, see, we're arguing over the after effect back and forth. We can continue to do that emotionally, but I notice that we don't discuss the cause as though you got a badge to just go have sex with whoever you wish. Is there a freedom to do that? And if so, then okay, then let's just throw out the rest, because you got the badge to have sex as much as you want. So you can have 10 babies, 10 different guys, none of them working nowhere. You got this system that'll help you take care of it. And check this out, if you don't want it, there's another place over here to help you get rid of it. So now what we're talking about a sick society that we're living in because we don't want to be responsible.
Man,
my view.
So let's look at this. Layla says she's teaching her son that sex is a spiritual act disguised as a physical act.
Facts. That's right.
Now let me ask you a question. I mean, do we ever, because again, that goes back to, now we start talking about marriage, right? Now, however one decides that they cement their relationship with their significant other, whether it's in the traditional manner of a preacher, or whether two people decide to say, listen, you're mine, I'm yours forever. This is, how we rock. All right, cool. Can you have fun with sex then? Is it okay then to have fun with sex, and y'all decide, whether you're gonna do condoms, not condoms? If you have a baby, y'all two working together to have that child and all that. I mean, we can have sex and have fun then, right? In our respective relationships, right?
Yeah, I like the way Layla put it. Sex is a spiritual dance. But this country here, in this Eurocentric society, sex is a recreational tool, like going to get the basketball and go playing ball out the back with the guys. Okay? So sex is a spiritual dance. And it is so spiritual that you can create another being covered into this world. So sex shouldn't be something you just take and run with someone. If y'all are two entering each other, that should be sacred. It shouldn't be something that just throw away like it ain't nothing. I think that's the number one problem right there. We're having too much sex and no spirituality. And so here we are now. It's like Russian roulette. Okay, do you take a revolver and put one bullet in it and flip it around and point it at your head? No, you don't, right? Do you do it for fun? I'm gonna have fun with this gun and I'm gonna do it for recreation. Let's play Russian roulette. It's the same thing as having sex. Chances that you can get pregnant is high. So why don't you do it spiritually with somebody you can kick it with, opposed to someone you're going to produce yourself with? Think about it. The possibility of you reproducing yourself with someone you don't even like, first of all. Second of all, you don't want to produce yourself with that type of individual. So why even have sex with them? So again, look at sex as a spiritual. Whether you say you get married or not, I think this: if you use your sexual tools, because here's the thing, sexual intercourse is for reproduction purposes only. That's all it's really for. So imagine if you're giving up that sacred part of you. The most sacred part of you is your reproduction organ. Your reproduction organ is the most sacred part of you, right? But you're going to give it away for fun, and don't make sense to me. And maybe we need to rethink what sex is in this society.
Maybe so, because I'm thinking, with my one, that one that I'm looking at as spending forever with, you talk about use it as sport and go play ball. We can play. Me and her can play ball naked. And then go have sex, or we can read a spiritual book together. We can meditate and then go have sex. I still want to have fun with sex.
Well, that's the bond, and that's the two individuals creating a bond to create that spiritual realm with.
Okay.
But I'm speaking of those who don't even have a bond with nobody, who is laying down with people that, you just met him, boom, now you're having the fun, you're playing the Russian roulette, now she's pregnant, now what?
Okay.
I don't want it. I don't want it either. Well, what you gonna do? I don't know. Let's go to the abortion clinic.
Man, I'm glad we clarified that. I was about to go get my own chastity belt and just call it a day and say ain't no use to this no more. But yeah, no, I'm glad we.
But listen though, this is very interesting, because when you look at the definition of sex, rather the word sexual intercourse. When you look at the word sexual intercourse, you're looking at the word reproduction. It's only used. I'm gonna say it again. All animals are smart. They know it too. It's only used to reproduce. Now, you got certain animals, they are smart as hell, and all bugs and animals are smart. I'll give you an example. A female bird, there's a certain species, I love this story, there's a certain species of female birds that will come to a tree with all male birds. All the male birds want to hump this female. They want to get her. But first, they must perform a task. They must first build a nest that is strong and beautiful. So you know what the female bird does? She comes to the nest, spreads her little energy, then she leaves. She comes to a tree, spreads her energy, then she leaves the tree. All the male birds now are picking up twigs and all kinds of stuff to build nests inside this one tree. When she comes back, she's looking at all the nests. Guess what she does? She goes jump on the nest. She picks on the nest. She goes inside of it. She tries to see if she can tear it up. The one that she goes inside that nest and she stays, that's the one she wants to produce with. What is that bird saying? That bird is saying, I want to make sure that I lay down with someone that can secure our family. That's what she's saying. And so, same as the lioness. The lioness won't lay down with the weak lion. She will only lay down with the strongest one in the pack. We see that in all animal kingdom. What are they saying? I want to make sure that my cubs or my babies survive. Why can't that same be the same common sense with today? Now again, what's the word sexual intercourse, meaning have sex? But now we call anal sex sex. You can't produce nothing with the anal. We call oral sex. You can't produce nothing with the oil, right? With the oral sex. You can only produce two sex organs are supposed to meet. And anus is not a sex organ. Sorry, hell, I have to tell you, your anus is not a sex organ. Oh, your mouth is not a sex organ. Your ear is not a sex organ. You only have one sex organ, and every one of us have just one. Hey. Stick with that one.
Hey, that reminds me, bro. I know years ago, man. I know a young lady. She was Catholic. She thought that she could circumvent the idea of virginity by having anal sex. That was her thing, and she thought she later realized that was dumb. But she literally, that's what she thought. She thought that she was still being a virgin by participating in anal sex, which is crazy. It's just something I heard through the grapevine about somebody. This is an interesting topic, and honestly, it's interesting in general, because now you start invoking the idea of the church, because if you can remember, we had Tressie on before some months ago, and
yeah.
She spoke a little bit different. She's a prophetess, and an elder, has been an elder in church before, and she's someone who believes that the church has screwed up sex for people, and that when it comes to sex, it should be a little more free. There is a lot more spirituality involved, but it should not be the uptight, we can't talk about it subject that it is in church. But nonetheless, I know personally, if you're not, I'm what they would call, they make up all these doggone terms and whatnot. I would call myself a sapiosexual. So if she doesn't intrigue me mentally, if there's nothing going on mentally, then I'm not turned on by her. I'm not intrigued. I'm not as interested,
Right.
I moved out at 17 and have been on my own ever since. I was the only kid in high school with a house, and I did a lot of dating in my younger days, and so I got to the point to where mentally there has to be some type of something going on, and mentally, when you start talking about that, incense is a great smell that's somehow coincides with sex. So with that being said, I want to give a big shout out to Abibi Toomey Trading Company, home of Saya Baba and Soap Sticks products. Folks, they are in over 400 locations at a store near you. You can also find it at sayababa.com. That is www.sayababa.com. That's SYABABA baby.com. SYABABA.com. That is owned by yours truly, Brother John Yan. Maybe one day he will tell you a story about how he got into incense in general. Health Daddy Wow, healthdaddywow.net, home of the 100% plant-based vitamins, herbs, cleanses, and teas. We are here to help you live longer, feel better, and look great. Again, location 1806 Ralph Avenue. They are there Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday, 12 noon to 5 p.m. Again, folks, that's healthdaddywow.net, home of 100% plant-based vitamins, herbs, cleanses, and teas. And I do know that they have real watermelon out there which if you are with your significant other and you want to pump it up, then get you some real watermelon, and that'll help open up some of them capillaries and whatnot to get y'all moving back and forth like you really want to. With that being said, we also have another sponsor, God's Lives Matter, godslivesmatter.com. Folks, you can check them out. They have paraphernalia and stuff like that, t-shirts, caps, and all type of spiritual things that you can utilize with your significant other before you make love. And again, that's godslivesmatter.com, another sponsor on the books here. So when you look at this, man, you that your story kind of ties into this just the same, but certain smells and different things definitely, can have a lot to do with that act there. But when
well,
go ahead.
Well, sex, we talk about sex, and you talk about the dynamics behind the energy of sex. It's very interesting. At the tip of the orgasm is in fact, if the white man could create a pill to give you that orgasm, he'd be a trillionaire right now. Everybody would be buying the hell out of that pill. Just a pill that make you happy. You think about taking a pill, you just having an orgasm.
That might solve the abortion thing, right? That might solve the whole thing.
But yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. If he could create a pill, it would be already be here. That's the most sacred thing he can create. You cannot duplicate a pill to make you have an orgasm. If you could, it would be the top selling pill. But here's the thing. So sex is a special, really spiritual thing, to the point to where you can manifest whatever you want during the time of having sex, meaning that you are sending out a vibration that's connected to the universe, so powerful through that love right there, through that love of having sex, because you're really in love with, you ain't in love with the person you're having sex with. You're actually in love with the feeling you get ready to have this orgasm. You're in love with that, and that sends out a powerful message to the universe. So imagine during this act, you begin to think you are wealthy or you are abundant or whatever it is you want to produce in your mindset. While you're doing that, you produce it faster. So what I learned was that sex is entwined with memory. Smell is entwined with memory. You can smell something and remind you of something or someone. And this is how my business started, because my wife at the time would burn a particular type of fragrance called Precious Chandon every time she was horny or wanted some sex. If I walked in, she was burning that, boom, that's what's up. She's ready for me to come in the bedroom. If she done burned it late at night, she's saying tonight, right? And so it became so entwined that every time I smelled that, I start thinking of her. Literally, I had to quit selling Precious Chandon after we divorced because I kept thinking about her, right? And so the thing about it is so entwined that I was producing something that now ends up being my company that I have today.
Man, so that's the baby you produced.
Yes, exactly.
That's amazing. That's kind of dope when you look at it that way. Bruh, it's an amazing topic, and going back to the topic of abortion, even Brother Bishon chimed in. He said, "Is sex, is premarital sex still a sin?" And if we open it up, we say, "Is premarital sex still a wrong?" Right? So
I take it out of religion. I pull it out of religion.
That's what I say. If you pull out of religion, you say, "Is premarital sex still wrong?" What would you say when you think about that?
I say pull it out of religion and have responsibility. You can have integrity and not be in religion, right? So if you didn't have integrity before you got it, your ass ain't got integrity after religion. So you got to have some integrity about yourself and what you do. So put the integrity in first, and then look at your responsibility attached to your integrity. You don't need religion to do that. That will automatically tell you that I'm not going to have sex with someone that I'm not trying to build a future with. And that's the thing. We want to use the word marriage. Let's take out marriage and let's say build a future with. You want to have sex with someone, your integrity is to build a future with, is what you should look at.
Man, so, interesting. And, even what you said before, just a bit ago, you said, once a man, I guess, ejaculates, then he's sending out that message to the universe. brothers out there, some of y'all are having a problem sending your message. Listen, hit up healthdaddywild.net. He's got something to help you to be able to send that message out if you're having a problem sending your message. But with that being said, we're nearing the end of this week's show.
Another great one.
What would you say, if you had one thing to cap off the whole abortion, is it right or wrong? What would you say on that? Just, is it right or wrong?
It is absolutely wrong to stifle something that grew, that is meant to come into this dimension. Once you have produced it, it is now created in the womb. One of the things I believe in African spirituality is that birth ain't when you actually come out into this dimension. You came into this dimension when you were conceived inside the womb. That's when you started learning feelings, emotions in the womb. You started learning words in the womb before you even came out the womb. So birth in the African spirituality is not when you come out of the womb. It's actually when you are conceived in the womb. Why I say that? Because you are now in this dimension, and those things your mother carrying you, her effects, how she feels, whatever trauma she has, translate right into you inside that womb. So you're actually born before you actually born, if that makes sense. So I would say to anyone to use common sense and have some integrity of who you want to lay down with. But yes, you should not have the right to have an abortion unless you somehow was violated through rape.
Exactly. And as Layla says, as above, so below. All right. We're going to have to get her on to explain that. I'm not exactly 100% sure what that means, but that might be some African spiritual thing that, I'm not as familiar about. But with that in mind, Frank Stoner says, yep, that is how I manifest my business. With that being said, folks, we're nearing the end of the show. This has been another week of the Tipping Point Morning Show. Check us out on 1240 a.m. or WLOUonline.com and listen to the Truth Be Told show every Tuesday, 9 a.m. John, you still got your podcast coming up 7 p.m. Tuesdays?
I don't. Actually, I took a break and I just pulled back a little bit on some things and just so I can focus on my book writing more.
All right. Well, folks, we will see you next week once again with the Tipping Point Morning Show right here on WLOU.com and WLOU 104.7 FM. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Okay, and I'm going to get back into what that means, as above, so below, here in a second. Give us 1 second as we transition, folks. All right, we are back once again. Hey.
You are listening to The Tipping Point Show with your host, Mr. Just Ask Joe, John Yeah. Right here on WLOU. Stream it live on Facebook and WLOUonline.com. And now, The Tipping Point Show.
All right, folks, back again to the after show of the Tipping Point Morning Show. Again, great conversation, great topics. Didn't have a guest in, but we often have a guest call in, and this week we just wanted to kind of open up the lines, do some talking, and just kind of chat a bit. But this conversation about abortion, it's interesting how it goes into a multitude of topics, but it all surrounds sex there. Now, as Layla, the educator, said, as above, so below. Omni etc. chimed in. He said it means as it is in heaven, so shall it be beneath it. So what that kind of makes me think of as well is, as above, so below. I think there's a biblical terminology behind that as well, when it says as it means as it is in heaven, so shall it be beneath it. But I believe that terminology came from earlier African proverb before the fact. So everything starts in the spiritual realm. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the thing. That's what is said about birth. I think among every religious anything out there, just about right, is that even when it comes to a baby, they say, enlightened individuals will say to their children, I'm glad she chose us, or I'm glad he chose us. So with that in mind, then the thought is, okay, this is a spirit that came to this body in the womb, right? And even my dad and I talk about this, and we talk about how you're a spirit, you come in and you have to enter through earth through birth, right? That's the law. That's universal law. In order to enter this earth legally, it has to be through birth. And to exit this earth legally, it has to be through physical death, right? So when you start talking about other spiritual things like demons and or aliens or what have people are entering earth illegally, right? So there's a whole spiritual side of that where it's saying we're spirit beings traveling the universe, and why we decide to come to earth and come through birth and go through all this crap, I don't know. Someone might say that there's a task at hand, or it's almost like a ritual. You have to get through this part in order to enjoy the rest of the world. I don't know. You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, very good point. The way I view it is a little different. So I remove religion from it, number one. So I move all biblical and all Quranic viewpoints from it, because those are just fairy tales of all about the hereafter and all of that. I view it like this. We're all energy, and there's only one energy. And so when you're talking energy, even in this dimension, and when I use this word, this dimension, you can use it into this meaning physical. Physical form is in this dimension. Now, but the dimension before this is just all energy. So there is no such thing as real death. You only transform. That's all. So energy doesn't die. Energy always exists. And it exists on different frequencies. And this is how just energy is, right? So you really don't die. Your body is made up of energy, and it goes back in energy. What you think death is based upon you not having the ability on this physical plane in this dimension to operate. And it's really not true in a sense of knowing the dimension behind this. So there's only one energy. So now imagine spirit is energy. I don't like to use these words Holy Ghost and spirit. I just want to use the word energy, because there's only one energy, and it's everywhere. Okay. And it's in everything you see, feel, and the things you cannot see and feel. Even wind, you can't see wind, it's energy in wind, right? So in this dimension here, you are birthed into this dimension. Once you are birthed into this dimension, you have to follow the rules of this dimension. Even if it's a virus, even if it's a germ or a bacteria. Once it comes in this dimension, it has rules it must follow, and it has a lifespan. It must have it has an enemy, meaning every virus or every germ has an enemy. Every germ, every cell has something trying to eat it or something trying to kill it. Everything does. So when it comes in this dimension, it has a lifespan, and it has to abide by the rules of this dimension, just like gravity. You have to abide by the rules in this dimension. Now you can go back and you can go in other dimensions. There are different rules. In this dimension, you have to abide by certain rules. So if you look at it, spirituality, once a fetus is birthed into the womb, it is now in this dimension, and it must follow all the rules of this dimension, based upon how mama eats, based upon how mama thinks, and all of those things that are physical on this side affects the child while in the womb, and it haven't came out the womb yet. Once it is conceived, it is now birthed into this dimension. That's spiritual. That means you have taken something from energy that did not exist in this dimension, and then you brought it into this dimension. It is no different than me having a thought that does not exist in what I'm looking at in my brain. And how do I bring it out of my brain into this dimension? The things that you see, mouse, phone, all these things came from someone's head first before it came into this dimension. Understand how that works. Energy, force of this energy, this is called spiritual reality. Spiritual reality. Okay, so I can have a thought that's spiritual. It is not reality until it comes to this form. That's spiritual reality, right? Same as birth, having a child. You're bringing something into this world through what? An energy force. Having sex is an energy force. Your sperm creates. Your sperm has all the makeup of your DNA from your bones and ancestors and everything inside your sperm that goes out into the woman's egg and creates another energy that's now in this dimension. So remove religion out of it and look at spirituality as something that is in this dimension and what you're birthing on this side of the playing field. At that moment, you realize you've done something so magnificent that is the greatest thing you can do in this dimension is to bring something look like you into this dimension. Everything does it. Look around you. Everything reproduces. Even cells in your body reproduce. Listen, in 10 years, you have a whole new body. All those trillion cells, 100 trillion cells in your body is new again. Why? Because they're rebirthing. New cells, old cells dying off, new cells coming, old cells dying off. It's a continuous cycle. The whole earth does it. The whole earth in this dimension does two things: death and birth, or birth and death. Okay, that's spirituality.
So, when you think about that, then I've heard speakers say things like, what we see as reality is energy moving so fast that it becomes what we call matter.
Yes.
It's something we can touch, feel, but it's simply a realm of energy moving fast enough.
Right.
And that makes me think of science class and stuff like that, where you talk about cells moving and they move so many thousand whatevers, and then that makes what we see and touch, which is interesting, because that makes me think more of this world as a matrix. Correct. than anything else, and your ability to go from here to here,
right,
has that's any and everyone that has that ability. All you have to do is do more of this in order to create more of this. So it's interesting when you think about that, man. But man, I know it's so many people. Even when we get back to the topic of abortion, man, I know plenty of people who would call it wrong right up until the point that they find themselves in that situation. And now it becomes something that they actually follow through with, when before they were in the midst of that situation, it was something that they quote unquote believed as wrong. And it's just interesting when you think about that, because when you look at abortion, I mean, there's so many people out here that can't have kids.
Right.
You know, and then here you have people that are aborting something that someone else who would love to be in your position to be pregnant could raise and have and hold and show love to, versus, you know, abortion. I wonder what the statistics are. That's a good thing to look at. That would be interesting to look at how many abortions are had in America a year. Look at how many deaths we have a year. Do the math, and then see how many people we would have on this earth in a year, maybe, right? If there were no abortions.
If there was no abortions and we were having sex like wildfire like we having now, yes, we'd be in trouble. Here's another question, Joe.
We have two pandemics going on at the same time.
Yeah. Here's another question, and this is very interesting. Why is it that poor people have the most children and rich people don't? Or people who are wealthy don't?
People in more affluent neighborhoods have less abortions than those in impoverished, disparaged neighborhoods.
Correct.
But you know, the first thing is that you don't see abortion clinics, you know, in nice neighborhoods. I mean, you know, they don't do Whole Foods, Trader Joe's abortion clinic.
Right.
You know,
but listen, though,
here you got Family Dollar, Plasma Center, abortion clinic, AA clinic. I mean, it's all lined up right there for you.
So why do you think poor people have the most babies and rich people don't? Why do you think that is?
Well, my classic cliche, you know, I'm an asshole answer is, you know, them niggas ain't got shit to do. You know, that's my first asshole answer is that them niggas ain't got shit else to do.
you see what's interesting is that from a perspective of lack and want, from the perspective of lack, living a life that you are not privileged, you're lacking, and the only thing that make you feel whole is your penis. Think about this now.
And that hole.
Yeah, I can't do. There's a whole lot of things I can't do because I'm poor, I'm broke, can't go here, can't go there. But what I can do is have some sex. In other words, it's actually free to have an orgasm to make me feel good and whole. So
and you know what? And when you're saying that, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, there's a sense of pride for some guys to say, "Hey, I'm that dude. You know, I can dig it down, you know, better than most. And, you know, now you make a name for yourself in the hood. You know, now you that dude who dicks it down better than most, you know, or when females in the hood, quote unquote, talk about you, you know, they can talk about that because, yeah, girl, he gets it in.
Yeah.
So there's a sense of pride that goes with that as well. Because when you're coming from a sense of lack, then that is an actual achievement. Yes. Because you're weighing it against other bullshit that, you know, you're not weighing it against getting a diploma, college degree, starting a business. You know, you're weighing it against a bunch of other bullshit that isn't even up to par. So that's interesting when you really think about it from that standpoint.
Yeah, the poorest people have nothing to do most but to have sex. Go around and see who you can poke. Instead of going around seeing what kind of business you can start, what kind of opportunities. See, people who are busy with
what kind of legacy you can leave, what kind of generational wealth you can pass on.
Exactly.
You know, man, it's interesting when you think about that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, let me give you something personal, and this is personally me. And I want to say this is interesting. Okay, so and I don't want to mention her name. I don't want to mention anybody's name, but I had a beautiful wife back in the day. She's still we're great friends today, but we're not married anymore. We had divorced. But she worked at a law office. And of course, now I used to work third shift before I started my business. So we were having crazy sex just all day long. She'd have a break. She'll take a break, come home, and we'll have sex, and she'll go back. You know, it was all the time, just all day. But when I started my business, I don't have time to have sex in the middle of the damn day. I'm busy humping, getting this business started. I don't have time to sit around and stop, give up my energy, and pay attention. When I stopped, automatically, I would say insecurity sets in. I must be fucking someone else. I must be something's going on. You don't like me anymore. And she didn't know that as an entrepreneur, as a young want-to-be entrepreneur, I was after success more than I was to have a nut. And that began to take a toll on our relationship based on that. So when I read about successful people, nothing that I read or nothing I hear about people who are successful are talking about sex. Think about it. They're busy. Think about a person that's got 2 or 3 businesses. They are really doing it. They are online. They are out in the field. They are really doing some things. But in order for me to have 400 stores and keep up with my 400 accounts and trying to visit at least anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12 stores a day to complete all my stores in 1 month, to keep up with that grind, I ain't got to sit around and have time to have sex. What I need is a woman that's going to grind with me, opposed to her trying to get me to pull out my penis and have sex. That's just me. I'm about success and trying to build a legacy that I'm trying to leave for my grandkids, opposed to I left a bunch of kids with broke and they're nothing.
You know, I tell you, man, it's an interesting thing to sit back and talk about. You know, that whole thing. You start talking about business, the time you don't have, and the support that obviously you may not have been getting, versus the reaction to the time you no longer had to spend. And you know, it takes a different type of woman to stand behind a man that is out here trying to get it. You know, because he's not doing it just for you. He's doing it for the whole fam. You know, he's doing it for the whole for everybody, right? For the generations of kids that are not even here yet. So it's, you know, that's a tough one right there. You know, when you start talking about that, you know, I remember my mom, my dad, you know, he started different businesses coming up, and one that really stuck was a t-shirt company. And you know, my mom stood by him, you know, through all of that. There was no, you know, this, that, and the other. But she was a soldier. She was a trooper. But that's a tough one, man. You know, alleviating that and starting a business in the time you don't have anymore to spend with someone.
Right.
But,
if you look at it, a lot of families, couples broke up because of business coming involved that wasn't there before. See, I'm married to my business. I am my business. And so if you marry me, you're marrying my business. I am my business. This is what I do, right? And so it's a part of me. It's no different than marrying into a family, that a woman that has kids. Those are your kids too. You're marrying just not her. You're marrying those kids too. So in my case, when a woman steps into my world, in my realm, she's married to a business, and so she apparently has to take part somewhere or another, or you'll lose my interest if my significant other ain't taking part in what I do pridefully, right? And that becomes a barrier, because this is how I eat, this is how I create whatever it is I'm trying to create.
Yeah.
So that plays a great role. And it's just like if you marry a sister that she has a business, you stepping in with her, right? You just think, shit, you do that shit. No, you're going to be aiding her and helping her, because that's who she is. She's
at the very minimal support, right. Being that person's cheerleader, or what have you, cheering that person on and being that support when they have a heavy day. That's the bare minimum that you could be when your significant other is focused on business, because it ain't easy, man. It is not easy. And I can sit back and talk about stories of businesses and money lost, money gained, just all type of things that I definitely know a lot about what not to do when it comes to that. That's what you learn a lot of in business, especially when you're not one that, went to business school and this, that, and the other. You kind of self-taught when it comes to that. And, there's definitely a lot of bumping your head along the way to make things work. But either or, man, as we sit back, kind of wrapping up the after show, is there any last words, verbiage, talk, anything you wanted to speak on before we bounce?
Yeah, before we bounce, man, I got to go in on this conversation. Every week there's something always new coming up with this COVID information. Those who've taken the vaccine, those who have not taken the vaccine, the division that's taking part in the two. I'm definitely excited to see people resisting, waking up. There are people who have taken the shot, said they ain't doing no more shots. They ain't doing no booster. They're feeling bamboozled now. It's very interesting.
I think people who have taken the shot have to, at this point, be feeling bamboozled. I mean, my cousin in Portland, Oregon, her daughter called her the other day and said, hey, they talking about in health class that they'll pay me $100 to take the shot. And I'm like, dude, like, are you serious? So now you coerce them. I saw a story the other day about one of these airlines, and they said the headlines read something like so-and-so airlines plan, $200 a month plan to employees is working to help them get the COVID shot. And I'm just like, man, it's come down to at which point do people look at this and say, hold up, dude, hold up. You're paying people. That's like abortion. That's like welfare, right? Like a person has more kids, they get paid more money on those programs. So it's okay there, but you don't find anything wrong with it here? I mean, it's the same thing. They're paying you to go get the shot. And one might say, oh, well, they're trying to help prevent blah, blah, blah. Listen, viruses are viruses. They don't go away. Okay, viruses just mutate. That's why every year they've been every year since flu came out, they've been reproducing new flu vaccines. And when you go take it one year, guess what? You're taking last year's vaccine strand, or last year's flu strand vaccine. Okay, so but majority of people don't take the flu shots anymore. Why? Because you don't need them. Your body knows what it is. You've had the flu or whatever. Your body knows what it is. If most of us get the flu right now, it will be one day and it's one and done. You barely even got to do anything for your immune system, because your body damn sure as a grown adult knows how to deal with the flu. So you don't need it. Now, with this COVID shot, people are acting like, and what, conscious fever? No, not what was that? Connections, communication, whatever that show was that was on
last week.
WLLV last week. They on every week. And listening to them dudes, they on every Saturday. I think it's like 7 a.m. they come on, Community Connection, something like that. Them dudes are sitting there talking about some I wish everybody would hurry up and take it so we can get rid of this pandemic. You got to be the dumbest, stupid. I'm sorry, I'm gonna call out. That's the dumbest, stupidest, dumbest statement ever, because that's not the way this works. Everybody could sit here and take the flu vaccine. I mean the COVID vaccine, and it don't stop shit. It's a virus. It mutates. I mean, golly, you're right, bro. They are token Negroes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's easily to be misinformed, and it's easy to follow whatever it is they're putting out there on the news, because a lot of us don't use objective thinking, and we'll follow. And I hear people make statements that is only really one-sided, as though there's not another side to this that you haven't looked at and studied. And so as I sat back and watch, as I am enjoying the results of what's coming out, even with Red Cross saying that you taking the COVID shot and they don't want your blood or your plasma anymore. They got it now to where people who have had COVID and got over COVID naturally have a better chance on fighting the new variant. And here's what's interesting that some people don't see. All these viruses actually have the same component. They mutate and tweak a little bit. And because your body already has the components from the previous virus, it can now recognize the new variant of the new one and help fight it off better. This is why your immune system is so important, to not deny it the ability to experiencing the new variant or experiencing the new virus that's coming out. I say, give it to me. I say, if a new one, give it to me, because I have the strain of the old one. Give it to me. Let my body create its antibodies, because I'm a great person.
Man, I mean, look, chicken pox. People was like, here, your kid got chicken pox? Okay, hold on, we coming over.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Go get it. Go get the chicken pox.
This is how
I am so glad myself that I got COVID. Covert. I'm glad I got it, and I'm glad I'm one and done, because at this point now, if I get it again, and let me tell you something, there were 3 different incidents, including the actual covert that I went through all of the symptoms that they said, the breathing, palpitations, and all that stuff. Went through all the symptoms. I didn't go through the taste thing. I don't think I didn't pay attention to it, but because I was just sitting there, I would sit there, take good water, pour it in there, bowl, and I was dropping like veggies and just cutting up herbs and stuff and throwing it in there, and then I was just drinking that like soup, right? So it didn't matter what the taste was. I was trying to get some health collective going on there. But with that in mind, there were 3 big things that I went through last year. First one was January of 2020. Something hit me. It was like a chest bronchial thing, and I'm one of those people where I typically will go to work sick, stay to myself, spray down everything, and I go to work sick. This was a situation where I stayed home because it put me down. It knocked me down. But what it did do is it made me think about what health and wellness things am I not doing. Right. That's the first thing it made me think about. And I said, okay, I know better. So I got back on my game. And then there was the covert later on in the year, in I think it was September, end of September.
You want to send Frank the link? He wants to come on. Sure.
Yeah, let me do that. Then there was that, and then it was some other time where, I don't know, man, I was at the end of a day and I just started to feel, I don't know, I started to feel woozy and just real weird. And like, I started getting, cold and whatnot. And I went checking the AC in the office and whatnot. And so first thing I did was I went into the kitchen at my office. I keep pickled jalapenos in there. And I grabbed like 2 of them and I chugged them down real quick, went home and ate some garlic and had some tea. And the next day I was fine. But that was some weird situation. I don't know what that was. It could have been COVID again, because where I got COVID from was from people in the office. We had a little party at someone's house, at one of the coworkers' house, and COVID was passed around to everybody then. But with that in mind, I feel like, you're building up antibodies, your body's getting recognizing this thing. And, if it was me, I'd be like, look, where's COVID at? I need to go find it, get it, and get this over with. Let me focus on my health while I'm getting it, right? Let me, do the right thing. Because, I was doing green drinks, kale, and throwing everything green in there, parsley, whatever. I was throwing it all in there and drinking it up. See, that's the problem. People worry about taste. Screw taste. I'm trying to live. You know what I mean? Like, forget taste. Y'all don't worry about taste, but you got to take horse pills from the doctor. Yeah. They prescribed you that nonsense. You don't worry about taste. You just do it because, well, tell you what, wear a white coat and make yourself a green drink and stand in the mirror and look at yourself in that white coat while you're drinking that green drink. And maybe that'll help you with going ahead and doing the right thing for your body. But, I got you, Frank. I'm sending this over to you right now. Frank's going to come on and give us some type of health collective. I know he's got something to say. But, anything else when you start talking about this COVID thing, anything new? I've seen some places in other countries where they're resisting. In Canada, I saw something where a gentleman was, a little town somewhere in Canada where they've resisted, and now they've gotten laws changed. I see that there's still hospitals where they're protesting because the workers are saying, yo, I don't want to have to deal with this. This is not fair to force me to put something into my body that I don't want in my body. And I think that's right. We all should have the opportunity to say yay or nay.
Yeah,
right?
I'm impressed with seeing the people that are resistant. That's for sure. It gives you hope. It also inspires you to speak out more, especially on, that I'm meeting people on Clubhouse that are speaking out. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing to even hearing everybody echoing freedom.
Hey, Frank, check your cell, Frank. I just sent it to your cell phone. Sent you the link to come on. So check that out. I'll send it to you in Messenger as well. But you're right, bro. I don't know. Anybody else want to come on? Let us know. Hey, y'all, we'll send you on real quick. We'll send you a link, and we'll continue to jump on and have some more talk. What's that sign behind you say, Frank?
It says, reads, live longer, feel better, and look great.
Is that at your business?
Yes. Yeah. I'm in front of the business right now before we open. Live longer, feel better, and look great is the goal that the Health Daddy Wow family wants to relay to you all, and the listening people out there, that we love and trust you. We're going to tell you the truth, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much you don't like it, no matter how many times you didn't heard the opposite. We're going to tell you the truth because we know what the truth is. We've been doing it long enough to know what the truth is, we put it out there, and it's for you to decide and for you to look it up. And don't just go with what I say. I welcome you to do your own research. I love people who do their own research, that way they know. I don't have an agenda here trying to pull anybody's leg or any of that. We have seen and heard from plenty of people over the 10 years we've been in business. And I just want to throw that out there real quick, fellas, to the people who listening. And I'm gonna beat our drum here real quick. Me, Mr. Neen, and the family. Put some respect on that. Put some respect on that. We've been in business 10 years, and you don't be around for 10 years if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and if you're not helping people. Okay. So I have to say that, and I say that with respect, but I need people to put some respect on that, because we still have people come in, and I know what we're used to and what does this work? Does that work? Well, it ain't gonna work if you don't drink no water with it. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not gonna work if you don't think it's going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work if you think a white boy got to be in here telling you it's not going to work. No, it's not. But coming here with a
hey Frank, have you ever thought about doing whiteface? Just a little baby powder and a white coat.
Maybe for Halloween, Joe. Maybe for Halloween. I don't know.
Who are you? Oh, I'm a white man. I'm a doctor.
You may find a line out there waiting to get in. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, there's Dr. Frank, Dr. Stoner in there. Tell you how to get a boner. It's Dr. Stoner. He's got the pills to get you a boner.
I'll probably be retired right now. In 10 years, I'll probably be almost retired right now. Anyway. I just come on here real quick to say, fellas, I know y'all been on there for a long time. Great show every week. It's why I help to sponsor this show. Y'all call it out. Y'all say what it is. And you don't care how popular it is. And that's what we need. It don't have to be popular. We don't have to be running around with what everybody else saying. I'm not here to make you comfortable. Sometimes the truth is just not comfortable.
Well, that's the reality, Frank. Comfortability is the problem with most people, and they don't achieve more, they don't do better, they don't achieve their best, they don't hit the highest of heights that they have the ability to do so, because they're just too comfortable. And in a lot of cases, when you look at the disparaged community, the impoverished-minded community, then there's a whole lot of comfortability being passed out and passed around that we, the taxpayers, pay for, right? And that's the problem. They're just too comfortable, because once you take that comfort away, people start doing things like your boy made people feel uncomfortable. Trump made people feel uncomfortable, right? And all of a sudden, people started opening up businesses and this, that, and the other. This pandemic made people feel uncomfortable. And we've heard more about us as a community opening up businesses than we've ever heard before. Why? Because people were uncomfortable. We need to be uncomfortable. When I was growing up, I got some younger brothers who was hard-headed, knuckleheads, and my dad made them feel uncomfortable in order to get them out on their own, right? They had to get uncomfortable. They were too comfortable in the house, and parents make that mistake all the time. Is they create too much comfortability with their kids, and then they wonder why they grow up as spoiled brats, unable to do things for themselves because we make them too comfortable. I like what John did with his daughter. He's taken her and given her, he's allowed her to explore and given her the ability to the support to explore different things. And when one thing hit and she's doing great, now, like he says, I can do some other things with this support because she's doing well now. This thing has clicked, and that's the way we should be supporting our kids. Right. Not just sitting there and having grown men in the crib you know, and you supporting them and whatnot, and people complain. Comfortability. You got to get uncomfortable,
Yes,
in order to get comfortable later, right?
that's right.
So, you know, I'm
I
with
know
you
what
on that.
mean.
Hey, Frank, got a question for you. What do you think about the abortion? The right to, not the right to? What's your opinion on that?
It's my body, my choice.
I you know, and it's funny when I ran with the crowd, when I ran with everything, what everybody's doing, I was you know, I was with it. The my body, my choice, and I'm still with it. You know, she has a right to do whatever she needs to do for her body or, you know, her situation. I don't have no problem with that. Do I agree with it? No, I don't agree with it. You know, I mean, I just don't agree with it. It don't mean I'm against it. And that's the thing. If I'm not for something, don't mean I'm anti.
That's right.
You know, so you know, and John, I kind of stay out of that because it's so touchy. That's just a touchy subject.
I mean,
so
I agree with the idea of rape, definitely. Okay, if you was raped, I think a person should be able to make that choice. You know, the religious community would say if God didn't, you know, want it, then he wouldn't have allowed her to get pregnant. And they would say that if in fact she was raped, you never know what that child's going to grow up to be, the next whatever that helps humanity. Who knows, right?
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
with that in mind, man, it's I think that if someone was raped, however that rape came about, molestation, incest, whatever, that they should be able to definitely make that choice. But there's a point where, you know, I know people 2 and 3 and 4 times they've been to the abortion clinic. That gets ridiculous. Really, I think, I mean, it's, as a society, we got to be, I guess we got to be more open because our society is more open now. You know, I may not agree with it, but hey, maybe every woman gets a one-off and that's it. Outside of that, you can't be going back, you know, 2, 3, and 4 times. This is not, you know, you are not a Pez machine, and that is not the refill. So no.
Let's look at something. Let's explore something for a minute for all the listeners who are listening. Now let's say, for instance, right now, you have a choice. You're a spiritual being. You had a choice to choose what body you want to go in. You know, let's say, for instance, you're a spiritual being. You ain't here yet. And so whatever you believe in God, and God said, hey, you know, I'm going to see you on down here to the earth. Pick your parents.
Yeah.
Would you pick some broke ass parents and ain't got no money, they ain't there? Would you pick a parent that they broke, they on welfare, they don't have any really intellect to raise you or whatever the case may be, and they're bitter, mad, mean all the time? Would you pick those kind of parents that's going to abuse you and misuse you? You'd be like, oh hell no, I don't want to go to that person. You know, so you would have a choice, right? And so to think about having the choice of who you want as your parent. And maybe if you don't want that person, your parent, then you want to be stillborn because I don't want to live with this person being my parent. Look at their attitude. So I can imagine if a woman's pregnant and she was raped, I can only imagine what goes through her head after being violated, and she has experienced it in her head, but yet she's got the baby in her womb. Can you imagine how that baby's going to come out with all the hatred and madness that she has? And then she's got to try to focus on love for something from someone that she hates. I mean, think of the courses that little infant who ain't do shit, ain't got here yet, automatically got to deal with emotionally. Think about that. So, I mean, you know, if we had a choice, I'm glad I can tell you right now, I love both my parents. I say, choose me. I choose my parents again. But some people be like, nah, I don't want that. She's dope fiend. I don't want you as my mama. You dope the whole time I was pregnant. Shit. So, you know, you'll choose something different, I'm sure. You'll be like, oh, no, I don't want that. So imagine you having a baby, whether you are female, whatever, what type of mother you're going to be, and will that child really want you? In other words, here's a good question. Would you like you as a parent? I asked this question one time to a group of men. I asked a group of men, I said, would you marry you if you was a female? You know, half those Negroes said, no, I wouldn't marry me. But damn, no wonder you can't find a wife, you know, because you wouldn't marry you with your sadistic mindset towards women. Think about that. Would you marry somebody like you if you was a female? If you answer no, that means you are no good person, and you need to realize that. Same as a parent. Same thing.
Shit,
that's to you again.
Shit, I'm an advocate for cloning on that one.
That's why I love this show, man. So thought provoking. That point you just raised, and you know, you guys, you know, you just make people think that what you said earlier about life, you know, how life comes. You know, this is, once that seed is planted, that's a life. You know, I mean, it's an argument about, you know, how big it is, and I mean, come on, man. That's life, in my opinion.
When I plant a seed,
it happens, that's life.
When I plant a seed in the soil in my garden, I'm sitting here looking at my garden. I screwed it up, by the way. But you know, I put a seed in the soil, and it goes from here to here to here. Either way, it's life. Whether it's here, or here. That, to me, that's life. But you know, I don't know. Again,
we get it. Then we get into religions, and then we get into the biggest thing on this. The biggest thing really in America, and everybody needs to understand, this is the money, man. Follow the money when it comes to anything. It is big business in abortion. I mean, huge business, from alleged selling baby body parts. You know, they even use. It's alleged that, you know, they use baby, you know, for cosmetics, fetuses and, fetus for cosmetics and all that. So when you get into all that, it's big money. It's big money. Okay, so you know, you know, your thought provoking, man. It's just so, man. It's just so off the earth, brother. You know, woo. Okay, what I called for real quick is it is definitely something out here, folks, that you know, I talk. Okay, first of all, let me give a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not on here giving doctor's advice. I would never do that. But I speak in my line of business. I speak to people, a lot of people, every single day. And what I've been hearing, whether it's here, out in the street, or whatever, there's this thing going on here in the head. Sinuses, chest, a lot of issues going on with mucus and whatever have you. Okay, with a lot of people, even the little ones and all that.
I got somebody I was gonna bring up to you for that right now, and she could be listening right now. So let's go ahead, tell it.
Okay, it's definitely something out here. I don't know if they didn't spray something in the air, because it's just too many damn people when this thing happens. It's just too many people with the same issue. Okay, now we was just talking about immune system, and John, we was talking about how they want to give you this poke for something that keeps evolving. So they want to, you know, every time it evolves, they're gonna give you a poke. They won't give you a poke. Well, your immune system evolves. When I started the show, I said, put some respect on it. Put some respect on your immune system. Stop playing. If they don't mention that on TV, I don't care. Your immune system is not to be played with. All right. If you're not boosting your immune system to fight whatever's going on out here, you're going to be in trouble. You keep listening to the wrong people, you're going to end up in trouble. Now, there's a lot of mucus going on in the chest and the head. Let me just say this, and I'm asking a question. Listen to me now. I'm asking a question. If you have a chest full of mucus, lungs full of mucus, and your head, putting something inside of you to help you breathe, is that getting rid of the mucus? Is that getting rid of your problem? Or is that helping you breathe through the mucus until it accumulates so much that you are, you know, you probably
so you're talking about You talking about treating the symptom versus treating the underlying issue.
Thank you. Treating the symptom, helping you to breathe instead of, okay.
Let's
I
get
gotta be
rid of the
careful.
reason why you can't. Let's get rid of the reason why you can't breathe.
Why you can't breathe. So it's the mucus, and that stuff is thick. It's thick. So you have to thin it out. So number one thing, in my opinion,
Black Lives Matter had they had one treatment because they went in the hood and they passed out cases of milk, and milk thickens phlegm. Milk thickens mucus in the body. So what they did to help people with all that mucus was to go in the hood, because we apparently have more issues and more susceptible to COVID, blah 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 blah. So they went and they helped the problem by passing out cases of milk to thicken the mucus, thicken the phlegm, to further constrict the airways. The alveoli or whatever you call it in the lungs. That was their remedy in helping Black folk. But we don't even see how that ties together and whatnot. But it's a whole nother conversation, whole nother story. But they had such a great remedy.
Right. Well, you're right. To get rid of what is causing your issue, which is whatever that is that mucus or pus or whatever that is growing within your body, you have to get rid of that. You can't put something around it to help you breathe around it because it keeps coming. Okay. Now, you have to get rid of that. Number one thing, a lot of people don't like to do drink water. Drink water.
Hey, man,
so you can flush.
Because it helps to thin mucus in the body. Water. That's like your first combat right there.
That's your first line defense. Plus, the body loves water. And, and you're going against nature and you're going against your immune system. So, when I hear a lot of these things, like people trying to defend stuff they don't know what the hell they talking about, man, that's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. But anyway, let's drink some water. Number two, let's get some plant-based vitamin C in your life. Know the difference from plant vitamin C and ascorbic acid, which is a chemical. Know the difference. And see, that's another reason when you study health and you study the body and you study what's going on out here, when people try to tell you what's going on, it is frustrating when they don't know what the fuck they talking about. All right. So you just can't go back, grab any type of $1.99 vitamin C, vitamin C chewable, gummy, all that. Read ingredients, know what you're ingesting, because that don't help. All right. It's mucus fighting herbs out here. Oregano, you have lemongrass, you have olive leaf, you have sea moss, you have elderberries. I mean, you just have so many things out here that is within nature that could help you with your problem. I'm just putting that out there because I'm on that side of the rim. Do what you want to do, because I do believe in choice, because I don't believe in a one size fits all kind of thingy. So do the research and do what you need to do to help yourself, because this stuff is continuing to grow and it's getting worse, and you need to help yourself out and your family by getting educated. Turn off the fucking TV. If a lot of people are dying, then you're not getting the right information from where you're getting it from.
Yeah, because people, that right. I think apparently this week there was an announcement. I guess it was here in Louisville. A 15-year-old kid, quote unquote, died from COVID-19. So, whereas a year ago we weren't worried about kids getting COVID at all, and even to this day, the survival rate for kids, under 18, is 99.98%. Right? That's still the survival rate, even though the survival rate for us as a whole in every state, every country, all around the world even is 98%. Right? I did the math my damn self. I encourage any of y'all to go do the math your damn self. It's just numbers. It's easy. But
it is, man.
when you look at this, you know, and then all of a sudden, that's what Kari said. All of a sudden, all of these children have RSV at the same time, bruh. They are trying to scare people because what? They want to get these kids vaccinated too.
Yes.
So they're giving the kids choices. They're taking away the rights that parents have to govern their children and make that decision for them, and giving autonomy to the children to make that decision themselves. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. And I really want to punch people in the face for it. Personally, that's my thoughts.
Man, it gets to be so real quick. It gets to be so frustrating. So let's take it out of the TV. Let's take it out of the government's hands. What are you doing at home? If your diet or your children's diet is pizza every single day, well, guess what? Guess what's going to happen? French fries, potato chips, chicken nuggets. Guess what's going to happen? You know, these are all mucus-causing foods. So the education starts at home, and that's why you can't. Some people, you can't treat your own children. This is why you have to send your children to other people for health who don't give a shit about them and who haven't given shit about them before 2020 or 2021. Now all of a sudden they love you. They want to do whatever it is to, you know, for your health. And they keep talking about a free jab or what have you. The jab ain't free. I paid for it. You paid for it.
This is folks. This is the government literally going and printing money to
pay for this shit.
They're paying the pharmaceutical companies. The government is in bed with these pharmaceutical companies.
Hundreds of billions of dollars.
Well, it's actually a way of how companies can siphon money from the government. It's emergency funds, and that's how it worked with the vaccines. This is why there was such a rush to get it done, because there was billions of dollars government funded already waiting for this, and this is an emergency fund release that the government pays for. So you got people, they know what they're doing. They know that the U.S. is a business, and it should say
it's a business.
Should say American Inc. That's how you should describe this country, American Inc. So it's really about money and how they can siphon money out. And one of the things I want to piggyback on what you said, Frank, about plant-based. So, you know, you got plant-based vitamins, and then you have synthetic vitamins. Understand the difference of the two, of where you're getting the source of your vitamins from. So you like, if you're getting a source of vitamin D, if it's not coming from a plant-based, if it's not coming from a synthetic, then it's coming from a natural source, particularly vitamin D3. It's got to come from the sun, unless you're going to get it from some shell that's coming from a fish or coming from some animal that you're getting that vitamin D. But if you're getting a vitamin D that is synthetic, you're not getting a whole vitamin C, a whole vitamin D. You're not getting a whole one. You're getting a synthetic one, and that's the difference. Opposed to eating an orange or eating something that's with natural vitamin C in it, or natural vitamin D in it, which is the sun. So understand the difference in whole vitamin and a synthetic vitamin, because synthetic vitamin is not giving you the whole of whatever it is you think you're taking.
And you know what? It's interesting that you said that. It's not giving you the whole of what you really need. So a synthetic vitamin C not giving you a whole of what real vitamin C can provide. Now, think about that for a second. They say that people that got COVID and survived it, which again is 98% in general, right? But people that got COVID and survived it are better off than those that did not get COVID and got the shot. Why? Because when you get the actual virus, you're getting the whole of it. Whereas when you take the shot, you're just getting the spike protein. So you're not getting the whole of the virus. So yet again, we're finding out that, you know, this God force energy here knows best, because getting the whole or the real of the virus is better for you than getting the synthetic. because you get the whole actual virus and your body knows how to fight it from this end to that end. Whereas when you just get the vaccine and you just get that spike protein, you're getting a small portion of the virus, which is why people are still getting sick. And it's so crazy. The lack of common sense is so crazy because think about it. Before the fact, everybody was like, yeah, we need the vaccine, we need the vaccine, we need the vaccine. So that way we can not get it. We can prevent. And then people got the vaccine, and then all of a sudden people were still getting it. They're like, hold up, why are we still getting it? And then they started calling people who get the vaccine super spreaders. And then, hold on, so now we still getting it and we're super spreaders. And you got the nerve to still validate that and trust that and continue on with that thought process? You got to be an insane individual. But regardless, and here's the thing. Kari put this up. He said all of a sudden all these children have RSV at the same time. Now I had to look that up. Respiratory syncytial virus, right? So this is a new thing now that they've been talking about. Now here's something dumb. All right. When I see stuff like this, it's just dumb. They said in adults, RSV pneumonia is associated with a mortality rate ranging from 11 to 78%. Who gives numbers like that? A range of 11 to 78%? Dude, you know good and well. We've had pneumonia in general worldwide forever. And to be honest with you, over 2 billion people die worldwide from pneumonia every year. Okay, so look that up. Look that one up. That's been happening.
Let me put
a plug in real quick. Dr. Akmal has a class coming up called Enhancing Your Immunity in Autumn, Standing Up to the Delta Variant Master Class. It's a very good class. It's actually, when I did the calculation, it's $13 for 2 hours class. For you to get all information that you want to get. We got to learn how to put our money where our mouth is at when you talk about learning. And so he's going to drop a lot of science. This is an 18-week course class, 18 weeks of him teaching about the immunity. You're going to learn about diabetes. You're going to learn about quite a few things dealing with your health in this 18-week class that he's giving here. I urge anyone who is listening, sign up for these classes. Since I'm not on Facebook, you can probably email me and I will email you the link where you can join and get in on these classes. These will be virtual classes every Tuesday, I believe, for 2 hours. $13 for a 2-hour class where you can ask questions. If you have any questions, you can ask. This is like literally allowing a doctor to teach you some things that you can learn, and you can ask questions about. What class does that? What class actually gives you the ability to learn much about your immune system in this season, as much as you can learn, and all the questions you can learn, and they're willing to give it to you for $13 for 2 hours, right?
I mean, think about what he's doing there. He's teaching you to not need him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're paying him to not need him.
And he's and it's a doctor with, in my opinion, no agenda. He loves you. He wants you to be better. He wants your family to be better. You know, this is not a money grab. So we got to start listening to people who love us, man. And it's just that simple. We've been so far removed from nature, guys, that we actually believe a lot of things like, you know, that just don't make no damn sense in nature. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but our virus is already in the body.
Yes.
And that's Dr. Mark Mom. You know, we can. I keep hearing that we need to do this until we kill this virus. Kill it.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: can you kill fucking viruses? Can you kill them?
Viruses are here. Viruses are here all year round. Okay, people say, "Oh, the virus, even with the flu, comes back during the winter." No, it's simply because there's less vitamin D, which is what helps support us against getting sick with viruses, because there's less sun. It's common sense.
We've been so far removed from nature that we will believe anything. We will believe anything. And viruses are within the body, right? Are viruses sitting in your body right now?
Yep.
Okay. If the immune system is at a level where it keeps them at bay, then the virus, to my understanding, what I've ever learned, can't wreak havoc. It cannot wreak havoc in the body. Okay, it's when the immune system goes in the toilet that the virus also wake up and say, hey, I'm getting ready to, show my ass around here. You understand what I'm saying?
I would say that everything is every chronic illness or most illness of any sort in the body it starts with a simple breakdown of the immune system. That's the layman's term of it. It's a breakdown of the immune system, because when everything's flowing right, your body does right. When things are not flowing right, which we are responsible, we're the first finger to point at when it comes to things not right, things going wrong. So even if it's you using that chemical out on your yard, and then later you get cancer, and now you get to sue that company for it, right? You were the one using it. You were the one that didn't look at the ingredients, that didn't pay attention to the fact that you're gonna be walking around that yard barefoot and this, that, and the other. That started with you. So you're your first responsibility to your body, and you're the first reason as to why your body is not right.
And it's not like we can't get educated to this thing, to this stuff. Joe, you just mentioned something that was so important. We've been so far removed from nature that the TV and whomever has convinced us to use a poisonous, cancer-causing spray to kill one of the greatest plants on the planet, which is the dandelion. Why would something or somebody tell you to destroy this plant with a cancer-causing chemical? That alone, finding out that truth, I would never trust you again. I would never trust anything you say again. I mean, just that. And if a boyfriend, and I don't want to pick on the ladies, if a boyfriend or a girlfriend lie to you one time and you get caught, you're never really going to trust them again. So why do we keep trusting these people over and over and over and over? Why do we believe what the fuck come out of their mouth, man?
Because we are conditioned. We are conditioned for abuse. That's what it is.
That is that what it is? We love the abuse.
We love to keep coming back for more. For abuse, we are in the midst of the battered wife syndrome, and we love it. We love going back to the abuser and saying, "You said you ain't gonna do it again. Okay, I believe you."
We think we're gonna wake up one day and this entity, what have you, say, "Okay, we love you now. We welcome you with open arms. We're going to give you the monetary means to, build your own and be with your own. We're going to leave you alone.
We're going to give you reparation."
Give you reparation. Now, we're going to wake up one day and, the entity that just keeps us wanting to think we ain't shit, go all of a sudden wake up one day and just reverse everything that they've done So no, it's not getting ready to happen. You have to take control of your own life.
Hey, look, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and
I gotta get off here, brother.
All right,
I appreciate y'all for letting me talk a little bit. That's what I want to talk about. It is some respiratory stuff going on out here, and it is thick in the lungs. It is thick in the head. It is thick.
And Frank, do you have anything there? Because I got somebody I need to, they wake up every morning with congestion and they are harking up stuff every morning. Now we understand that probably milk being a big component. What do you have anything there? Any supplements or anything that you would suggest to come grab from you?
We have herbals here. The herbals that are made in nature to help out with mucus type issues. So we have invented something here called a mucus eliminator. So it would help out to break up the mucus or phlegm or what have you you know, help it thin it out, and hopefully it'll run out the nose, or you'll be able to spit that out. Elderberries are really important. Just to name a few of the things we have around here. You know, so Joe, yes,
Okay.
we have plenty of things to help
Okay.
out with mucus type issues. And let me say this real quick. This is not something that you get to feel better. See, nature's telling you this. Nature's telling you this. Nature's telling you this. You got to take care of your own damn health. It's its time. It's its time. You got to take care of your own health, and you can't get to feeling better and then go back to that old life because you're going to go down again. This is something, and I'm just not trying to. This is something that you're going to have to. You're going to have to put in a new lifestyle. You're going to have to do these kind of things. You know, maybe get some oregano in your life, maybe get some lemongrass in your life, you know, the herbal teas every day instead of coffee or whatever, you know, kind of drinks that you're drinking every day. This is a turnaround for us. You know, all kind of businesses are being born from this. So this is the time. This is the time to go out on your own, screw they schools, screw they jabs or whatever they trying to do to you. This is time. The reason why the people before us, the reason why we like now, nobody fought. Everybody's scared to fight. I'm not scared to fight no more. I don't care. I got 6 grandchildren, and it's about them now. So, you know, I just want to say that you got to take control of your health.
Let me add about that mucus. It's great to do mullein leaf to help open and clear the lungs. You want to use ginger, which breaks it up. You want to use some turmeric. So if you can put some turmeric, ginger, along with mullein leaf, and some cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is very important to help removing stuff from your body. And do deep breathing exercises. So do that every day. Drink it, and
look at that.
Also put some local honey in there in case you're having allergy or rejections also in the local area, and that will help you. And I know Frank got some mullein leaf over there, some mullein tea or drop.
I forgot to mention mullein leaf. Man, how important is mullein leaf, bro?
Oh man, it's important. It's important for those lungs to open up and clear out to get
cayenne pepper. You ever ate? If people out there listening, you ever ate cayenne pepper on something and the nose just automatically start running?
Exactly.
You know, so that just clears things up. And man, it's just so great. I appreciate you, John, for that. Appreciate you, Joe. This show here is awesome, man. I tell you, I love y'all. And I got to go, man. I got people here.
Right, brother.
Take care of. Okay, I'll see y'all later.
All right, man. Peace.
All right.
All right, Joe, ready to wrap it up, brother? Think you stepped away for a minute. So anyway, it's just me. Okay. So let me go ahead and close out myself. Peace out, everyone. Thank you for enjoying the show or watching the show with us. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you got great information that we always trying to drop some jewels for you. So peace out, everyone, and live healthy and live well. Peace.
See y'all later.